Hi guys, welcome to this Saturday's ACCA predictions for Saturday the 14th of October. A bit of a mixed week so far on the predictions. We've dropped a couple of winners. I think it was an 8-1 and a 5-1 ACCAs. I think if you'd followed all our predictions this week, you would still be in profit by around 40%. So that's all good. I think last Saturday's predictions didn't go that well, but as I said at the time, I think it was quite sort of slim pickings. I think we sort of got 2 or 3 out of the 5, but we weren't really that close to dropping the big one. So we've got a full programme back again. International break is all done and dusted. Thankfully, I think for a lot of us, I think we're more looking forward to seeing the domestic game back. And that's where we start. So we start in the English Premier League, and it's Manchester City at home against Stoke. So no surprise here, we're going for a Man City home win. City have obviously started the season really well. Top of the table currently in the Premier League. Scoring plenty of goals, not conceded. I think they've got the best defensive record as well, only conceded 2. Boosted by the prospect to the return of Sergio Aguero as well, to further strengthen that attacking lineup. I think anyone who City play at the Etihad at the moment in time are going to be in for a hard time, and I think it's a case of probably keeping the goals down at this moment in time rather than actually looking for a win, etc. So they welcome Stoke City to the Etihad. Now Stoke have had a bit of a sort of an up and down season, sat sort of like in mid-table. Won the last game at home against Southampton. That was followed on from a 4-0 thumping at home against Chelsea. The last away game they lost at Newcastle, and previous to that they drew away at West Brom and lost away at Everton as well. So so far a bit of an up and down, looking a bit stronger sort of at home. But they are sort of conceding quite a few goals in each game. So far, I think they've only got 1 clean sheet so far this season in the league as well. So a trip to the Etihad is probably not what they're looking forward to. So going with a City home win there. Just to let you know as well that this ACCA that we've got on the screen now is going to pay 8-1. Now, if you wait a little bit later on, I'm going to give you 2 more teams, which will boost up your ACCA predictions to around 28-1. So for now, these opening 6 teams are the ones that are going to pay the 8-1. Again, later on in the video, we'll show you the 2 other teams that will take you up to the 28-1 mark. So we drop down into the English Championship, and we see Leeds United at home against Reading. Now, Leeds have lost their last 2 games away from home, and away form at the moment in time for Leeds is not great. In fact, they've lost the last 3 away games at Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff and Millwall, but at home still looking very strong. I think they've won their last 4 in a row there. So far this season they've looked really good. They beat Birmingham, Burton, Ipswich, and they've scored two or more goals in each of those games so far. So I'm fully expecting that to sort of continue against a Reading team, playoff losers last season. They're on a bit of a sort of a bad run. No wins in 5 in the league, a couple of draws in there. Lost at home last time out to Norwich, and previous to that away at Millwall. For them at the moment in time, I think goals will just be very hard to come by for them, and unfortunately they're not keeping any clean sheets as well at the other end. I think the last clean sheet came back at the end of August. So Reading are not really hitting the heights that they did last season, but as I've said before, they lost a lot of players in the summer, with Williams and El Habsi being sort of 2 key players. They've never really fully recovered. So Yapstam's got a real difficult job there at the moment in time. Leeds have won their last 2 meetings at Ellen Road, and I'm fully expecting that to carry on this one. So a Leeds home win and that. So down into English League One, and we see Bury host Bradford City. Now, Bradford. I've forgiven them. They let us down 2 weeks ago for a big, I think it was a 67-1 ACCA and a 12-1 ACCA, where they lost 3-0 at home somehow to Fleetwood. And funnily enough, since then they've won the last 2. So that's the only blip out of their last sort of 10 games. It's typical when we were tipping them. So fingers crossed they don't do us again this time. But away from home, they've been very good this season. they have won 4 and drawn 1 so far, with great wins away at Peterborough. Won last time out, a 4-1 thumping at Milton Keynes as well. So yeah, Bradford scoring goals, and they've always been typically very tight and dogged in defence as well, apart from that one Fleetwood game. And they go into a Bury team who pretty much struggle for goals most of the season. If Beckford doesn't score for them, then they invariably don't score a goal. So last time out, they lost at home to MK Dons 2-0. Previous to that, at home, they did beat Oxford 3-0, which is the only time this season they have scored more than 1 goal at home. So yeah, they're. I think Bradford should travel there in good heart. They won their last season 2-0, and I'm expecting a very similar storyline again this time. So a Bradford win away at Bury. Next we look at same division. We're looking at Peterborough at home against Gillingham. Now Peterborough sit nicely in the playoffs, whereas Gillingham are only 1 place off the bottom. And yeah, since they sacked their manager, things haven't really turned around that well for them. So Peterborough, a bit of a mixed form recently. 2 wins, a draw, and 2 defeats. Last time out, they actually lost 4-1 at home against Oxford, which was a bit of a freak result, really. It was one of those games where everything Oxford hit seemed to go in, and they were all pretty much worldy goals. Prior to that, they had a good win at home against Wigan 3-2, and then beat MK Dons 2-0 as well. But I think this is more for me about Gillingham and how poor Gillingham are at this moment in time. And yeah, they really just can't seem to buy a goal in the league at the moment in time. And away from home, they've took a couple of pummelings as well, a couple of 3-0 defeats. And I don't know whether they've scored away yet from home this year. Oh no, they have. They scored once, away at struggling AFC Wimbledon as well. So yeah, I'm not expecting anything different in this game, and fully expecting Peterborough to stick a few past them as well on Saturday. So our penultimate game, we go across to Germany's Bundesliga, and we are seeing Jupp Heynckes back at Bayern Munich. So yeah, he returns as manager following Ancelotti's sacking the other week, and I'm fully expecting Bayern to get back on track after they drew their last game away at Hertha and drew their last home game as well against Wolfsburg. Goals haven't been a problem. It's actually been the other end of the pitch where they've been a little bit more sort of generous to the opposition. They do welcome a Freiburg team who are not pulling up any great shakes. They're near the bottom of the table. They had a decent season last year and actually qualified for the Europa League, but this year has not been too great at all. Away from home, really struggling for goals, and they've been on the end of a couple of defeats as well. And like I say, I think Bayern will be backfiring on all cylinders with their new manager, old new manager back in charge of them. So, yep, Bayern home win there. So the last game is Celtic at home against Dundee United. That's in the Scottish Premiership. Following obviously Scotland's disappointment of missing out on the World Cup, qualifying for the World Cup, quite a few of the Celtic boys will be back, looking to sort of get their domestic title challenge back on track. They are top of the table, only by goal difference over Aberdeen, so it's a little bit close to this season. And they did draw last time out at home against Hibs, but prior to that, they were banging goals in for fun, not conceding many, and trust me, Celtic aren't going to throw away two chances at winning at home in a row. They welcome a Dundee team who, in the League Cup recently, got thumped 4-0 at home against Celtic as well. So a trip to Celtic is probably not what they're looking for at the moment in time. So yeah, I think Celtic will run out winners on that. So that's your 6 teams. That pays 8-1. So as I said, if you're wanting to sort of go with that, that's absolutely fine. And if you want a little bit more value, we always like to give you some decent size accas. We can now sort of add the following 2 games, which boosts you up to 28-1. So the first game in that is Bolton Wanderers versus Sheffield Wednesday. That's back in the English Championship. So Bolton Wanderers, I think I've been tipping them to lose for God knows how long now. They've actually now gone 8 games without scoring a goal. 8 defeats in a row. So not great. I'm not going to go going back over why I think Bolton will go down this season, why they're really struggling. I think we all know by now, if you've watched these videos, I've highlighted it so many times about their lack of goals. And I even said it right at the start of the season. That's why I thought Bolton would be in trouble. Now they welcome a Sheffield Wednesday team who suffered an embarrassing home defeat to the local rivals Sheffield United. Then followed that up with losing to Birmingham, a team who hadn't won since August. But they got back on track last time out with a thumping 3-0 win against Leeds United. And Sheffield Wednesday were showing a little bit more of the form that most people are expecting them to challenge at the top of the table for automatic and the playoffs. And I'm fully expecting that as well. With the firepower that they've got the league's top goal scorer, well, joint top goal scorer in Gary Hooper, who's banging form at the moment in time. And the Kieran Lee's back in midfield for them as well, and he's really vital cog in there, and he got another goal last time out. So yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday should have a little bit too much firepower for a Bolton team who's just going to be so low on confidence. I expect if Wednesday get an early goal, they could get 2 or 3, and Bolton could be in for a very long afternoon. So that's the first game. The second game is back in English League 2, and we see Luton Town at home against Stevenage. So this is 3rd versus 7th, but it's not as close as that for me, if I'm honest. Luton Town are in really good form at the moment in time. A cracking win away at Accrington last time out, and also beating Newport 3-1 at home last time out. Two teams who are challenging the right end of the table. They got a great away win again. Another promotion rivals, Wycombe Wanderers as well recently, and. With James Collins, who's really settled into life at Luton since his move from Crawley, partnering Danny Hilton up front as well. They've probably got 2 of the best strikers, if not the 2 best strikers in the league, playing for them at the moment in time. Stevenage had a really good sort of start to the season. I think they'd sort of unbeaten in their first 4 games. Then they lost a few. Then they won the next 3. But they've lost the last couple of games, including quite a demoralising defeat away at a very struggling sort of Crewe team, 1-0. And that's pretty much where Stevenage have been last couple of games. No goals for them. Don't concede many, but like I say, I think Luton's firepower will just probably have a little bit too much for them. So I'm fully expecting Luton Town to come out of this one with all 3 points. So like I say, if you follow those, that will give you a nice 28-1 ACCA. As I say, if you don't fancy adding those 2 on, just go with the originals, 8-1. So until the next time, guys, follow us at Twitter at FootyBetTipster. That's a 1 instead of the I in Tipster. For more of the tips throughout the week. Until the next time, see you later. Take care.